Do you want to be the very best, like no one ever was? Well, one man sought out that mission exactly. Having mysteriously found himself on the Sword Coast, a self-proclaimed Beastmaster is going to attempt to prove once and for all that he is the very best. Who is this mysterious Beastmaster? Why does he care so much about being the very best? And finally, today we are going to answer the question, can I beat Baldur's Gate 3 as a Beastmaster? Now, let's get into the specifics of the rules. Number 1. Only my beasts can attack. This rule, for the sake of my own sanity, will only come into play after I obtain withers, and for the sake of the video, I'll kind of be skipping over the quote-unquote beast list footage. Rule number 2. Druids must stay true to Druid, and the Beastmaster must stay true to Ranger. Therefore, no multi-classing. This includes any dips into Fighter or Cleric for my Beastmaster, which is going to severely limit the amount of healing I have. Rule number 3. If a beast falls out of wild shape, the only bonus action they can take on their turn is turning back into a beast. Opportunity attacks are okay, as I can't particularly control them, and disabling them would be a hassle when I actually want them to opportunity attack, which is a lot. Rule number 4. If a beast runs out of wild shapes, they cannot do anything with its turn and must skip its turn until it either dies or somehow gets back into a wild shape. They are, however, allowed to tank, which means that there is a point in investing in their own constitution. And we will be using that as a bit of a cheat in some fights. And this rule goes without saying, but no outright exploiting any glitches to win fights. Now, this run began as a stream on my Twitch, Shoutgun21 on Twitch by the way. However, after discovering how truly insane this run could be, I decided to record some footage and restart from an earlier point in the run. So I'll be skipping over the Nautiloid and first few fights just to save everyone some time. For anyone curious, I just leveled until level 3, then swept through the bandits and undead to get withers. In order to do that, I went up a ways to the Blighted Village and completed the Grove fight. I've mostly been denying companions, really only keeping them around for XP. However, that will change soon as we discover more beasts. However, this means we are lacking Gale, Lae'zel, and Shadowheart. I spared Astarion the same fate, as honestly, I just like Astarion the most, and wanted to keep him around at least at camp. Truly beginning the run now, I freed Withers from his captivity in the Temple of Jurgle, who in turn summoned up 3 starter beasts who sometimes talked and said weird stuff. I don't know, but I turned them all into bears and respected them properly into some moon druids. I proceeded on my way to tie up the quest with Edwin and his followers, and honestly was looking for a spot to limit test with my new animals a little more. Little did I know that I was going to crush the owlbear in 2 turns while my followers just stun-locked the cub until the fight was over. Holy dude. Really don't like that owlbear. I released my followers out to the wild, hoping really to never have to deal with them again, and went back to the Blighted Village. Heading north and interrupting something, I wiped out the local hyena and gnoll population before continuing on to Joaquin's Rest. Sensing danger from the inn, I rushed inside to save Duke Ravengard, while my beast saved some shirtless dude from a fire. My beast and I cleared a way through, and I found a possibly weird-looking beast instead of the Duke. We escaped the inn and she informed me the Duke was kidnapped and taken west. We agreed to help and I sorted out the shirtless man my beasts found. I wasn't really paying attention, there was a lot of crying, and he mentioned some ring. I went out to the haystacks and discovered said ring and, well, I then proceeded to pocket it. I went snooping about some more and poked my nose in some Zentrum business, finding out there were more gnolls to kill and some agents to save. I decided to turn a new leaf. Leaving the hideout and returning the ring to the shirtless man, and apparently it was his dead wife's? I would have felt awful stealing that. But there was a strange sense of goodness for acting this way. Anyways, we continued west and encountered a huge dragon-type beast who destroyed an entire bridge. Seeing a fellow Beastmaster, I approached, however, he was not as friendly as others I had met. I convinced him to let me go, and he left, giving me just enough XP to make it to level 4. Now, level 4 introduces us to one of our main sources of damage for our beasts. First and foremost, our Beastmaster took the feat Magic Initiate Cleric, gaining the cantrip's guidance and resistance, and a level 1 healing spell, Healing Word, which would later be switched out with Bless. My Moon Druids, however, took the Tavern Brawler feat. Now, I could not possibly tell you why, but for some reason, despite all other features being disabled while in wild shape, Tavern Brawler is not, and all beast attacks count as unarmed strikes for the sake of Tavern Brawler adding the beast strength twice to the damage roll. This turns even a bear's attack into an average like 16 damage hit. This was a huge level up for us. I broke off on my own at this point to head back to the Blighted Village and into the apothecary's basement. Traversing through and stumbling upon secret levers and chests, I just so happened to answer perfectly to the magic mirror, revealing a secret magic workshop and a book with a weird skull. After leaving the lab and teaming back up with my beasts, we headed back for the grove to tie up some loose ends and accept a slightly evil quest from Mole to steal the idol from the druids. Knowing this would incite a war between the tieflings and the druids, I dug up some dirt on Kaga that I would need to go confirm in the wetlands. Showing off that Auntie Ethel truly is a witch capable of teleporting between the grove and her land, I failed the check to reveal the place as a nasty swamp and just had to deal with it as I continued to the woodwoads to get the evidence against Kaga. After an extremely annoying fight, we had the evidence we needed against her and returned to the grove to reveal her. We convinced her to join our side and swept up the druids in a classic beast battle. Kaga pleaded with us to save Halsin, but seeing it as a great opportunity and remembering the Scroll of Darkness I picked up in the lab, I seized this as a chance and took the idol from Mole, rewarding me with the Ring of Protection. I then did Mole another favor by saving some random kid on a beach from a bunch of bird-type beasts. Surprisingly, I figured this encounter would be insane due to the lack of mental stats from the beasts, but I guess they aren't affected by the Harpy's song. It was at this point I realized just how strong even 3 bears and a familiar truly are. There really isn't a problem in all of Faerun that can't be solved by throwing a bunch of beasts at it. I also believe the goblins knew this as they got straight out of our way as we approached the goblin camp. Just before we approached the camp, we were brought to our knees by a mysterious force. It showed us visions of some Elite 3 all masked in shadows. They must be some of the best Beastmasters in Faerun. It seems most of the goblins up ahead as well worship these Elite 3 and their champion, known only as the Absolute. We now know who our top competition is. Suddenly, our weird-looking ball saves us from their influence. I'm sure that'll come up later. We did the usual goblin camp activities, taking note to free the owlbear cub that we had defeated the night prior. Realizing how poorly they're treating a cub, it was decided
they must be dealt with.
We continued inside, without much trouble might I add, from the goblin guards, and immediately go for the priestess as she's the easiest to take out. I drink her sleep potion and wake up in a cell. After waiting around, a very nice lady comes to our aid. I forgot to mention this, but some weird demon beast wanted to make a deal with us. I denied him, but I guess one of his servants just saved us. Leaving the cell and getting my beast back, I realize how unsafe a base of the Elite 3 might be, so we make a break for the Underdark to get our next rush of XP. I realize very quickly at this point the parameters of my rules are going to have to change. The Beastmaster is allowed to damage structures, but I felt like it was only when it was necessary, and the Saloonite outpost is not. I also missed the teleport. Don't worry, I know that I did. We make a break for the Myconoid colony and secure some boots for a gnome. The grass beast asks us to kill some short people for him, and who am I to say no to a man of nature? When we leave, the main reason we came to the Underdark shows up. A grass beast all to ourselves who can resurrect an insanely powerful enemy for us to use in combat. This is Glut. Now Glut has a very special ability. He's allowed to resurrect one enemy, and we can use that enemy in combat. Now usually, and I think their intention with this, was that you would revive some type of humanoid and have a zombie with you. They allowed you, however, to resurrect something like a minotaur from the next encounter, and bring it along with you as an assistant in your fight. Later on as well, we're going to try to resurrect the bullet, but that might not go as well. So, we go out, take out some minotaurs, and resurrect one of them, and then spend the next hour walking around the Underdark, attempting to find the bullet. I also came up on Falar Alu, a crazy sword that sings and either buffs your allies or debuffs your enemies. Sort of perfect for my character as it doesn't directly deal damage but still supports my beasts in a real way. I eventually give up trying to find the bullet and take on the Spectator instead, who wipes out my Minotaur and forces me to go and get a hook horror. I took a long rest and met with someone who looks oddly familiar. And honestly, so creepy looking at him now. At this point I was feeling way too overconfident and forgot I was only level 4 and went to challenge the Duergar. At this point in this attempt, I was ready to run away and revive my other beasts to defeat the last Duergar. However, my bear had other plans. Eventually, through some lucky or not so lucky rolls, and Glut summoning an extra zombie after I killed the barbarian Duergar, we overcame the Duergar, but I lost Glut in the process. I returned to the Myconoid colony, collected my reward, and then recognized how underleveled I was and returned to the Goblin camp to farm some more XP, but not before being told about some dude named Nier across the way. He works for the Elite 3 or something. We'll deal with him later.
Gather a rating. You will open the gate. We will, and then we will be the first.
From this point forward, there would be almost nothing that could stand in the way of our Beastmaster and his 3 bears. After dealing with Minthara and freeing Halsin, I stepped away from the Goblin camp to go collect my first serious beast, a fire type. Firstly, I had to free the convoy that the Centaur asked us to clear out. I somehow failed to talk to Flint, so I was almost forced to be the good guy and simply just defeat the pack of gnolls, freeing the convoy to return to the Zentarim outpost. After this, we entered the toll house and immediately threw hands with the paladin inside. I don't know, man, he just looked shifty, and I don't think he was expecting 3 bears to just tear him apart, but that's exactly how it went down. We went further down the path to find our first fire-type beast. The rules of this world work a little different, I guess, and the beasts can mostly all talk. I collected her and added her to my team, saying goodbye to my tall green beast. Just before heading back to the Goblin camp in order to deal with the leader there, I briefly popped over to the Grimforge just to get the XP there in order to level up to level 5. Level 5 is pretty unimportant. The only bigger bonus is that my Beastmaster gets stronger beasts, but those ones are still weaker than the bears anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, except for the part where my bears can just hit twice now, but, you know, that's just a little thing. I returned to the Goblin camp to face the big man himself, Dror Ragslin, leader of the Goblin-type gym. After immediately getting blasted by him and his goons, I pulled out my secret weapon, 3 ogre-type beasts. They made quick work of Dror and his army, and I convinced these ogres that I'd pay them again next time. Surely. Now, I'm not saying this build was broken, but at one point my bear looked at Dror so hard that he died. I looted Dror's stash and headed back for the Underdark before being intercepted by some hero type. My rival, Will. He told me my fire type was a demon and that she wasn't nice. I didn't stand for any of that, and I cast him away from my camp without a fight. Now, I've been playing Baldur's Gate for quite some time, so the way I've handled most situations was in a pretty I need to get to the next level sort of way. So I never actually went and had the whole camp party or really even went back to the Emerald Grove yet, and instead chose to head to the Grimforge to deal with Nier. Now, there's still a decent bit of Act 2 left, but I think I'm going to end the video here. There'll be a part 2 coming out pretty quick because I have all the footage and voice recorded for it. I just need to edit it out. I wanted to just get a video out and publish something. So if you enjoyed this content, I have another video on my channel to check out, and there will be a part 2 to this video coming out pretty quick as well. But be sure to like and subscribe, it'd really mean a lot. It's one of my first videos I've ever done, so I'd really appreciate it, and I actually put a lot of time into this one. So hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, do whatever you want with it. And check me out on Twitch, Shotgun21. You can find me on there. I stream later on at night, sometimes during the day too. Alright guys, well with that, I'll see you later.